to everyone. I hope your morning is going better than mine has. I guess it's not been going bad. It's just been um long. I guess we'll say that. It's been long. So let me go and check my own. Uh, let's see what had happened was. Let's share this one for real, and then I can delete the other one. Yes. Now we're live. Now I have audio. Week 6 picks with audio. Here we go. What is up? Thank you so much for tuning in to an episode of The Picks. A little late getting started. I had a kid who is, I don't know, maybe he's on the verge of getting sick. I'm not certain. You don't give a shit. But we got a late start to the day. I let him sleep in a little bit, and then we had some pancakes and bacon for breakfast. Had to do a couple loads of laundry. Oh man, all the stuff you tune in to listen to when we want to talk about the NFL. You really want to hear about the minutia of me mixing the whites and the coloreds like I'm a 1920s American. That's the only time that segregation is allowed, right? In the laundry, you can't be a heathen and put your whites in there with your reds and your blacks, and you end up with some pinks and grays and dingy looking shit. You gotta separate that shit. I'm all for segregation of laundry, not so much the segregation of humans. Apparently, God wanted me to talk like a shilly portion when I say segregation. All right. To the picks, already 1-0 for the week. I thought Philly minus 2.5 was about as close to a lock as it gets, and they proved me right. So they went ahead and thrashed the Giants. Eli Manning looks like he is the problem, not the solution. Saquon Barkley looks like, but when there's, I don't know, 4 or 5 first-round QBs you could have taken and you didn't take one of them, I think it's going to set your franchise back quite a bit, because by the time they're good, Barkley's probably going to be burnt out. He's young. He's not getting a ton of touches, which I like both of those things, but the Giants are bad. We'll just leave it at that. And they're going to be bad for quite some time. Atlanta is home against the Buccaneers. The Falcons, they're donezo. You done. Atlanta, you done. Their season's over. There's no way they make it back into the NFC playoff picture unless some other teams really start to falter. I mean, I guess they could still go on a run and make a wild card push, but with the way New Orleans is playing, you got to think it's hard pressed for them to make a run at the division. Then you got the Panthers, who are no slouch, and then they have this game against the Buccaneers. I do think they should be more than a 3-point favorite at home against the Bucs. I just don't see how the Bucs are that close in Atlanta. I don't know how that line is. I guess I don't know. The Steelers did kind of expose the Falcons a little bit on defense, but the Bucs are not the Steelers. Jameis Winston is not Big Ben. O.J. Howard's really good. Mike Evans is really good. Deshaun Jackson is really good. But for whatever reason, they can never put it together. For that reason, I'm going with Atlanta minus 3. The aforementioned Pittsburgh Steelers travel to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals. The Bengals started off the week like a 2.5, 3-point favorite, depending on where you look. It's come all the way down to 1.5, and I think for good reason. The Bengals are pretty beat up. I know Gio Bernard is out. I think Tyler Kroft, the backup to Tyler Eifert, who's out, is also out. So they're kind of down to like their third string tight end. I don't know that they have the firepower to keep up with Pittsburgh. Cincinnati is a really good team. They will probably be a wild card team, then get trounced in the first round, as they always do. That's the Marvin Lewis special. Let's make the playoffs and then get fucking annihilated in the first round. Let me see if I published this poll. All right. I don't know why I worry so much about the Facebook interaction. Publish. All right. So we'll publish that so people, if they tune in, they can kind of make a pick on that. Hopefully I'll edit that part out of I won't. I don't have a ton of time to get this up before the 1 o'clock games. I'm not editing that out. Anyway, the pick is Pittsburgh plus 1.5 going into Cincinnati. I don't know that they, like I said, have the firepower. I think the Steelers win that game, take complete control. Would that put them in complete control? What the hell am I saying? Am I even like, I'm just talking out of my ass here? Like, that would give them complete control of the AFC North 6 weeks in, when just last week I was saying if they lost to the to the Falcons, they were going to be done. They beat the Falcons, so they're not done. That will not give them complete control of the division. The Ravens and the Bengals both have a pretty good record, so it will not even give them close to complete control. It will make the division really tight, but it won't give them complete control. I will shut the hell up. All right. LA coming across the country to play Cleveland. The Chargers started off the week as the favorite, and it's now gone the other way. Cleveland is now a 1.5-point favorite. Apparently, I really like 1.5-point underdogs. So I'm going to take the Chargers plus 1.5. I have no real reasoning behind that. The Browns look good. Baker Mayfield looks like he's the real deal. The Chargers have been less than impressive this year. You got to think, though, at some point. I mean, the Raiders to an extent did, but Mayfield really still put up numbers. The Ravens didn't really let him in the end zone. But again, Mayfield punched. That's fucked up. He passed for a ton of yards. I like the Chargers plus 1.5. It'll probably be an overtime game. It'll probably be a close game. So I'll just take the points. I have no clue really what to make of that game. It's probably going to be close because every single game that the Browns play seems to come down to the very end. I think the Jets game, which was a 4-point margarine. Now I'm talking about fucking butter. It was a 4-point margin, was like the widest margin of any of their games. All the rest have been 3-3 and a tie. So it's when 4 points is your widest margin in any of your games. You're playing some tight games, and I think Cleveland is on the come up. I don't know that if I were a Cleveland fan, I'd like that because that may mean that they have to hang on to Hugh for another year. And I don't know. For whatever reason, he doesn't seem like a head coach to me. He seems like a really good coordinator. So I don't know. It just whatever. After watching Hard Knocks, I really I felt for the guy with his family passing away and all those, but he doesn't seem like a head coach. Someone who has been a proven head coach in the past, but looks like dog shit now is John Gruden. His Raiders are home. The Seahawks come to town. Russell Wilson and his tattletale looking self come to town. Seattle is a 3-point favorite. Anytime, I don't know why, I just don't like taking home dogs. I know that smart money says you should always take the home dog. I just can't. Oakland is a 3-point underdog at home for a reason. They've looked like shit. Seattle, not very good. But where they're weak is their O-line, and where the Raiders are weak is their pass rush. If Russell Wilson has time, he will find openings. He will make defenses pay. He just hasn't ever had a ton of time these past 2-3 years. So for that reason, we're going to go Seattle -3. I'll lay the points. I'll take a bet that Russell Wilson can find a way to make some things happen in the black hole and send those Raiders fans home disappointed. I think this is this is it for them, right? They go to Vegas. So I wonder if the black hole will come to Vegas. Obviously, people aren't going to fly from Oakland to Vegas every week, although some will. I bet some will. Those fans seem pretty passionate. They will murder you over a game out there in the Bay Area, but yet the East Coast fans get all the shit. The Eagles fans, the Giants fans, they get all shit on and say they're the worst fans in football because they're nasty and they'll puke on you. But hey, you can wipe some fucking giblets off your back when someone pukes down your neck, but you cannot resuscitate yourself when you've been stabbed by some guy in Oakland's parking lot. That I'd rather get puked on than fucking stabbed. If you've ever seen a Nick Swartzen bit about being stabbed, there's not many worse ways I can imagine to die. Seattle -3. Get back on track, Michael. The Bears come to Miami and take on the Brock Lobster. Looks like Tannehill's not going to be able to go. He's been downgraded throughout the week. Okay, I'll reheat it. Yeah, give me a minute. As soon as I'm done, I'll reheat your bacon.
When bacon's cold.
You can tell the audience what happens when bacon's cold. No? Okay. You want to be shy? I will reheat it for you when I'm done. Give me like 15 minutes, okay? Yes, buddy. Yeah, it gets kind of yucky and rubbery and hard. I know. I'll reheat it for you, okay? I'll be in there in a minute. All right. The stars have not aligned for my son's bacon, but they have seemed to align for the Bears. The Bears, after today, should be, even if they don't cover. I think they're going to cover. So the pick there is the Bears -6. Even if the Bears don't cover, it looks like they will be 4-1 after 6 weeks. Now, I know it's an AFC opponent, so it doesn't help a ton. Their one loss was to Green Bay, which kind of obviously hurts in the division. But Khalil Mack, Eddie Goldman, those boys are for real on defense. They are who we thought they were. They're a really good defensive team. The question mark is Mitchell Trubisky. Is he the guy who just threw 6 touchdowns against the Bucs? I don't think anyone thinks he's going to be that every game. No one in their right mind thinks he's going to be that every game. Or is he the guy who just turtle shelled it against the Packers? I don't think anyone thinks he's going to be that every game. But which one is he going to be closer to? He reminds me a lot of Bortles. He's got a lot of Bortles in him. He's, bigger, more athletic guy, very, very inconsistent. I think a lot of that lies in the footwork for old Mitchell. But, I think they get this win. No Tannehill is always an issue for the Dolphins. It seems to be when their season goes down the shitter. So I'm taking Chicago -6 in this one. There's not much talking me out of that. I know I just talked about home dogs, but you're not going to talk me out of that one. No Tannehill, no bets from Michael. Minnesota has been on a tear of late. The Cardinals have looked like shit, even though they've gotten a win of late. However, Minnesota -10.5. I don't think there's much really that can be said about that game. Josh Rosen could be in for a test against that defense. The Minnesota defense has not been great this year, but they do seem to kind of have turned the corner. So we'll see where that goes. But I'm taking Minnesota -10.5. It's a lot of points to lay in the NFL. However, I just don't. The Cardinals are probably the worst team in the NFL. I should say fully healthy, because obviously the Niners are pretty bad right now. The Dolphins are bad without Tannehill. You got a lot of bad teams when their quarterbacks go down. However, fully healthy, fully constructed, I think the Cardinals are probably one of the worst teams in the NFL. The Jets -2.5, coming off a big win in Denver. Sam Darnold was inconsistent. He threw some beautiful passes to Robbie Anderson deep. However, he missed a lot of stuff, a lot of out routes. There was a lot to Enunwa over the middle that he missed. Isaiah Crowell does have an ankle injury. He is questionable for today's game. T.Y. Hilton has a hammy. He's a game-time decision. That's going to be big for the Colts. If they can get T.Y. Hilton and get some of those smaller guys to run those crossing routes that Jacksonville did so well against the Jets, I think they can make it a game. Without T.Y. Hilton, without Eric Ebron, without Jack Doyle, a lot of their underneath options are going to be limited. If all those guys are out, I think the Jets could kind of run away with this one. Andrew Luck does not have a ton of weapons. The Jets are going to be able to shut down Nyheim Hines and company, Marlon Mack, those guys in the backfield. I think the Jets -2.5 here at home. They start to get the ball, and I think that'll put them to 500 on the season, and teams can start asking themselves, are the Jets for real? And then they can start to shit the bed. But I look for the Jets -2.5 there, which takes us to the Slurs hosting the Panthers on a beautiful fall day in the Mid-Atlantic region. Washington started off the week as a 1-point favorite. They are now a 1-point underdog. I will take them. I will take the home dog here. Carolina is a good team. I just think that it's a good matchup for Washington. They're really good up the middle. They kind of are sketchy in the secondary, I guess you can say. They're weak, but obviously Carolina is not known for their passing attack. They've got Devin Funchess. They've got Cameron Newton. So they've got some players. However, I just think Washington is the better bet here. Give me the Slurs +1 in that game. Kind of quick and abbreviate here because I do want to get this up and uploaded before the 1 o'clock games start. Texans and Bills. Deshaun Watson earlier in the week wasn't sure if he was going to play. Became apparent midweek that he probably was going to gut it out. I think he's got a chest injury he's dealing with. They're a -10-point favorite, so I'm not going to take 10 points with a ailing Deshaun Watson. That team, I don't know why they struggle to put it together. I think it's a Bill O'Brien thing. He's another one. I know I was talking shit on Hugh Jackson earlier, but I think Bill O'Brien is just, for whatever reason, hangs on to his job. And if a guy gets hurt, he always has that excuse. Oh, well, we had Brock Osweiler. Oh, Deshaun Watson tore his ACL. And they keep giving him another year and giving him another year. After lunch, we can eat some candy. Not right now. It's still too early for candy. A little bit later. Okay. Wait for me to get done the podcast and I'll talk to you. Not right now. So Bill O'Brien, I don't think is an NFL coach. Give me Buffalo +10. Sean McDermott may not be an NFL coach, but I'm going to take Buffalo +10 here. Josh Allen does not look great, but he's a pretty athletic kid, and he can make some stuff happen with his feet. So I'm going to take Buffalo +10. Yes, honey. I said no. Please go put it back. Sloan, I said no. You're cute, but saying please isn't going to make it happen. I'm going to finish the podcast, okay? Go put it back. All right. Denver and St. Louis, or St. Louis, what the hell is it? 1998. The LA Rams and the Broncos going to be our first snow game of the season, which seems kind of early. I was just complaining that it was 85 in mid-October, and now I'm going to be watching a snow game. That is a 4:05 game. It's the only 4:05 game. The rest are 4:25. Obviously, a lot of the country is going to be getting Jacksonville and the Cowboys, not Sussex County, Delaware. However, you're going to be getting Ravens and Titans. So, Cowboys fans, I've said it once, I've said it twice, I've said it 1,000 times. Find a friend with a Sunday ticket, or get yourself out to a bar because you're not going to be on. Yes, you can have a banana. Would you like me to peel it? Bananas are allowed. Bananas -10 over Starburst every time. Give me the banana. There you go. All right. So, like I said, Broncos Rams going to be a snow game. For that reason, I'm going to take the 7-point underdog. The Rams are a 7-point favorite. Give me the Broncos +7. The Broncos laid an egg in New York. They were able to run the ball, but once it kind of got out of control, they had to go away from the run. Phillip Lindsay looks like he's the real deal. Royce Freeman looks like he's the real deal. They can run the ball. The Rams have given up almost 5 yards a carry. Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of that was inflated by the game Seattle had last week. You're not going to run for 5 yards a carry against the Rams with Aaron Donald, and Ndamukong Suh in the middle. They do not have a good exterior pass rush, or edge rushers, if you will. Their interior pass rush is awesome, but you can kind of scheme that up in the NFL. Don't get me wrong. Donald is phenomenal, and Ndamukong Suh is phenomenal, but you can really scheme around an interior pass rush. Keep your running back in to help chip. Keep your guards in your center stable, even if they run stunts. Just keep them where they are. Run more of kind of like a zone-ish pass blocking scheme where you're just passing guys off. The edge is where people can cause problems because you have to chip. Your tight end can't get out in a route. Your running back has to kind of stay in, can't get out in a route and run a little hook route or anything. So the edge rushers cause more problems than interior rushers in terms of game planning. However, quarterbacks don't like guys right in their face. There's no denying that. So if they can get a push, that's almost more important than getting the sack. Suh and Donald, though, are not really pocket pushers. They're more kind of disruptors. They like to shoot a gap, disrupt it, and make a sack, make a big play. Not sure how that's going to work in Denver. I think the Rams get the win. I just think with the snow and all those moving parts that they like to do a lot of that. What I would call misdirection, because a lot of their offense is pretty basic stuff. They're not running any kind of crazy concepts. A lot of it is just, this is it straight up. This is what we want to do. We want to run a trap play here. But what they'll do is they'll gussy it up with some motion. They'll fake a jet sweep and then run a trap. It's not anything like fancy. It just looks like there's a lot of moving parts going on. I think a lot of that's going to be mitigated in the snow. So give me the Broncos +7. However, I do like the Rams to win the game. Jacksonville goes to Dallas. Like I said, it's the 4:00 game that most people are going to see. Jacksonville is a 3-point favorite in Dallas for a reason. Their defense is insane. Blake Bortles got shit on pretty hard for last week's performance against the Chiefs. He deserved it, but it was not as bad as they would have you believe. There was shit happening that you just don't see happen. He threw a touchdown pass to the defensive end from the other team. That was a bad throw. He should have just ate that. Had a ball bounce off of a chief lineman's helmet and then was intercepted in the end zone. I think there were 2 or 3 turnovers in the red zone. Jacksonville was able to move the ball, and if they would have turned those into points instead of turnovers, it would have been a very, very different game. I did not come away from that game as impressed with the Chiefs as a lot of others did. I'm taking Jacksonville -3. I think their defense is just going to be too much for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott has no weapons. The jury's still out on him for me. I know a lot of people shit on Dak and say he's the problem. For me, the jury's still out. He's never really had, I'm not going to turn into Jerry Jones here and come on, I got an eight-man hot tub shaped like Texas Stadium. I'm not going to turn into Jerry Jones here and say that Dez was not an elite wide receiver at any point in time, but he was on the downside of his career. I don't think Dak's ever really had a great offense, period, aside from that one year where they had Elliott and they were just road grading people to like 1,800 yards rushing. Dak's never really had a ton of weapons. That being said, a quarterback does need to raise the players around him. So taking Jacksonville -3 just because I don't think Dallas has the weapons to really pressure Jacksonville. So that could be a slow burn game where it's like 10-3, 10-6. Then all of a sudden you look up and it's 24-6 Jacksonville and the game's out of hand. That's kind of how Jacksonville plays it. It kind of slowly builds, almost like a snowball effect, if you will. Starts off really little, gets going, gets going, gets going. Then all of a sudden it's a huge lead. They were never able to get anything going against the Chiefs, however, and playing from behind is not Jacksonville's strong suit. And once they were behind, that game got out of hand for them. Baltimore, -2.5. They started off the week a 3-point favorite. Tennessee is home here. Let me see. Can I confirm that? Is Mariota not playing? I can't imagine Tennessee being a road underdog to the Ravens. No, they're home. It is in Tennessee. It's in Nashville. I don't know why. Is Mariota hurt? What the hell's up with that line? Mariota week 6. I didn't even see an update on it on like the actives report. Maybe because it's a 4:00 game. Oh, my internet's real slow. Week 6, start him or sit him. Recent news doesn't say anything about him being out. He's not expected to play. When is this? No, he's going to play. He's going to play. Look, they're coming off a bad loss to the Bills. There's no question about it. Mike Vrabel had to cut a wide receiver who dropped a wide open touchdown pass. So they're definitely in trouble here, I guess you can say. This is a crossroads for them. They've got, they don't really have anybody to keep pace with because Jacksonville's lost quite a few games this year already. The Colts are the Colts and the Texans are the Texans. So it's not like make or break for their season, but you have to beat a team like the Ravens where you have to imagine that this could end up, being a wild card tiebreaker. If the Titans win, they'll get in. If the Ravens win, they'll get in. So we'll see a lot about the AFC playoff picture today, actually, with this Titans and Ravens game. I cannot take Baltimore as a road favorite. I just can't. I don't trust Joe Flacco. I don't know what the hell they're doing with Lamar Jackson. They are stunting that kid's growth, in my opinion, crazy. Either don't play him at all or let him actually throw the ball. Don't bring him in as like some gadget jet sweep guy. Like the Saints are using Taysom Hill more effectively than the Ravens are using Lamar Jackson. That's mind-boggling. And it looks like Sean Payton really thinks that Taysom Hill kid can be the heir apparent to Drew Brees, and I'm pretty excited to see how that goes for them. Will he be like the next Tony Romo, the kid who came out of nowhere, or will he just be some other jackass who I'm not even sure, just some guy that a coach took a chance on? And Brandon Weeden, we'll go with Brandon Weeden. Is he going to be Tony Romo or Brandon Weeden? I guess we'll find out in a couple of years because it doesn't look like Drew Brees is going anywhere. That guy's breaking records every week. I know it pissed off a lot of Redskins fans that they took so long. I just said it. I slipped. See, when I say it real fast in a sentence, I say skins, but I try to say slurs as often as possible. So the racial slurs fans got really upset about how long he took, but I thought it was really cool. It was a great little moment with him and the family, basically saying, if you work hard enough and you try hard enough, you can accomplish a lot of things. And then his wife turning him to him and basically saying, all right, now go win the game, shut the hell up and go win the game, was a great little moment too. I know I enjoyed it. If you didn't, you don't have a heart, which doesn't surprise me, jackass. All right, Chiefs go into New England, and for that reason, New England's a 3.5-point favorite. I think this is in Kansas City. It's completely the other way around. Kansas City's a 3.5-point favorite. I know I just said that the Chiefs were a little deceptively good against the Jags because they got a lot of lucky bounces. However, hear me out. I think they're a much better, I shouldn't say better team. I think they're a great matchup against the Patriots. Bill Belichick is going to do some things, and he's going to scheme some things that Patrick Mahomes has never seen before. He's going to confuse Mahomes, and Mahomes is probably going to make a couple mistakes. However, what Bill Belichick can't do is go out there and guard, Sammy Watkins, Tyreek Hill. I don't even know if Watkins is playing. I know he was out of the game for a while. These past couple of games, he's been battling some injury issues. But either way, Tyreek Hill's just as fast. Chris Conley's just as fast. Travis Kelce over the middle, pretty fast guy. Lamar Hunt, Kareem Hunt. Lamar Hunt's the old owner of the Chiefs. Jesus Christ, if he was running around, that'd be awesome. It'd be zombie apocalypse football. What was that? Mutant League football back in the day? That was a fun fucking game. That'd be awesome. You just fall down the meteor shaft and you're dead. And now you have to play -1 player. But no, Kareem Hunt, Tyreek Hill, Jason Kelce alone are enough to cause problems for defenses. If Sammy Watkins can play, if Chris Conley can play, if he can be productive, I think the Chiefs have a lot of speed, and that's what kills the Patriots. It's just will Andy Reid turtle shell it and quote unquote try to keep Brady off the field. That's not the way to do it. You want to kill the Patriots with quick routes, let your guys get the ball in space. Wow, you're almost at 100 gems. Good job. Awesome, awesome. You want to kill the Patriots with speed and quickness because they are built to be big, bulky. Donta Hightower slowing down Kyle Van Noy is a big guy. They want to get guys in the box, and they really want to maul you to death. However, I don't think Kansas City lets them do that. Give me Kansas City plus 3.5. On to the Monday night game, which is kind of a dud thanks to Jimmy GQ going down. The Niners were, when the schedule was released, set to have a Monday night game week 6 and then a Sunday night game week 7. That week 7 Sunday night game has been flexed out. The Niners are no longer on Sunday night. I think next week you're going to get another dose of Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. This time they play the Bengals, who could be in full-on free fall at that point in time. They almost got beat by the Dolphins. They came back and won that game. I think they're going to lose to Pittsburgh, and then I think they'll lose to Kansas City. So the Bengals could be in total free fall and be looking at, I don't know, they'll be like 4-3 at that point. And they will not be looking quite as rosy as they were at the beginning of the season. I still think the Bengals are a playoff team. I just think they could hit this little tough stretch of their schedule. Now, the Monday night game is kind of a dud. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is playing through an injury he probably shouldn't be playing through, but he's fast becoming Brett Favre. And what I mean by Brett Favre is not like good Brett, like gunslinger Brett. I'm talking Brett Favre that would play like dog ass for 3 quarters and then would get, credit from the media and get loved by the media for making a fourth quarter comeback that he put his team in the hole to begin with. I never understood that about guys like Favre, even Marino and Elway to an extent. Marino and Elway were really, really bad with that, where they would make a bunch of boneheaded plays in the first half. Their team would be down 17 points. The other team's defense would go into prevent defense, and then all of a sudden they're shredding them for yardage. Everybody's like, oh, they almost came back. They, look at these second half stats. Look at these fourth quarter stats. Well, yeah, they're playing against prevent defense the entire time. No wonder they're torching teams. No friggin' wonder they're torching teams. However, as bad as I hate Aaron Rodgers' attitude, and I just hate him as a human, he's a damn good quarterback, and I'm going to take the Green Bay Packers minus 9.5 over the Niners with, a mash unit at this point. They're dropping like flies out there. Matt Breed is out. I think he's out for some time, actually. There's just been a lot of unfortunate injuries in the NFL this year. Anyway, that's every year in the NFL, I guess you can say. It's a goddamn car crash every play, to use that old adage. There's a car crash on every play. And, I've been pretty adamant that I hope my children I don't think I have to worry about Sloan playing football, but I really hope Maxon does not get into football because I just that it's like a snowball effect, that slow buildup of, you got hit in the head 40 times this Saturday, 40 times next Saturday. It just slowly builds. And we're seeing the effects earlier and earlier. And now they've even shown some studies that it's just as bad to take the body blows. You get a whiplash effect when you get hit in the body. Like you go down. And if your neck's not, fully matured in strength, which it might not be when you're 12 and 13 and you're getting rocked, you could have some long-lasting issues and long-lasting effects. I don't want my kid to be a boxer. I don't want him to get punched in the head every day. Sparring. I don't want, I know this turned into like left-wing sissy shit, but that's where it went. That's where it took me. So let me recap these picks before we start talking about gender equality and treating ladies fairly and believing their accusations. All right, Atlanta -3, Pittsburgh +1.5, the Chargers +1.5, Seattle -3, Chicago -6, Minnesota -10.5, the Jets -2.5, Washington +1, Buffalo +10, Denver +7, Jacksonville -3, Tennessee +2.5, Kansas City +3.5, and Green Bay -9.5. Those are the picks for the week, guys. Good luck if you are laying any money. May the odds be ever in your favor. Have a good week. I will be back on Wednesday night with another episode of the podcast. Peace out.